Rich Porter since Rich Porter put Alpo on in Harlem or in the borough of New York, even though Alpo had his own people in Washington D.C. What is your opinion on that topic?
Well, me and you watched the movie and we watched you too. So me and you already know all the events in that story. Half of that wasn't even true. We already know why Alpo killed Rich Porter because he had them bricks and they ain't tell him.
Fact.
He already said that
that
on the
before he died.
Yes, on the documentary.
Before he died.
Yes. And he didn't kill him in that
Killed him in a car.
He killed him in a car.
Shot him and had his boys shoot him in the head.
Yes. And they killed that little boy Gary too.
Yeah, and left his finger, had the family come pick up the finger in McDonald's in a borough in New York.
All that came with territory. First of all, once you in this game, you gotta be loyal to your brothers. I'm not saying what he did was right because you don't have a right to take somebody's life. You ain't bring them into this world. But if you know you in this game and you doing lying, see what happened was Rich Porter thought that what he did was never going to come back to him. He thought that he would never run into the dude. You can't be sneaky and think that a person will never run into somebody because it happens. And that's what happened. He ran into him and told him, yeah, you ever get them keys, whatever. So he gave, like he said on the phone on the documentary, he gave him chances to come clean. He didn't come clean, so he killed him. And now, as far as his uncle, that was grimy. Why would you get a little boy, your nephew, kidnapped
and cut his finger off?
And cut his finger off, and the little boy got killed
After.
And
he still ain't get no money.
That just goes to show you that when you out here doing stuff, you gotta be humble, yo. I don't care how much money you gotta be humble. All that bragging, I got this. Listen, when you die, you can't take none of that with you.
Facts.
Be humble because when you out here bragging on what you got, showing everything on Facebook, your locations, all this and that, acting like you balling, doing whatever, niggas is watching, yo. Trust and believe that. And when they come in through a throttle. So you better be prepared for war.
And that's a fact.
Don't prepare for war, that's on you. Game over. Like the Mobb Deep movie, game over. Check it out, Mobb Deep, game over, or it's called Murder Music.
Alright, so if you could go anywhere in the world, where would you go?
I went to Africa. I would love to go back there, but I do want to go back. I've never been to Florida. I've never been nowhere. I'm going to keep it a buck. So where I really want to go to, I always wanted to go to Miami. Check out Miami. I love water, hotel water, sports, so indoor water stuff. I love resorts, so that's where I would like to go. I would love to check out Jamaica and their resorts and how they live in their hometowns and their cities and all of that.
Facts. Alright, so continuing on the Gentleman's Talk podcast. Like I said, all you gotta do is pull up the number 3, hit good with Brothers Within Us. You'll see Adam Productions. You see all of our content, different files for different content. We appreciate all support. Our relationship questions. Now we're gonna test your brain. You're gonna tell us what your opinion is. You're probably gonna be the first woman that ever answered this question. The first woman that I had do this question. How long should a man last in bed with a woman?
You know how I get about those subjects. Shoot, it depends on the individual. Like, I can't really say everybody's different.
Said, it depends on the individual. We'll leave it at that. On to the next one. The relationship questions. If a man does with a woman that breaks up with him, should he ever take that woman back in the future?
Depends on the situation and how much they care for each other or love each other.
Okay. So we'll continue on the Gentleman's Talk podcast. Last question on the Gentleman's Talk podcast. How many parts of a brain does a person have?
I don't know. I didn't take medical school.
Well, I'm asking you, how many parts of a brain do you think you have?
Let's see. This is the cerebrum. Maybe like 4 or 5 parts.
Well, it's wrong. It's 3.
Okay.
So you're close. I thought
Cerebrum and what else?
The cortex.
Mm-hmm.
And then I forgot the last one.
Okay.
But it's 3 of them. I'm Googling though. But anyway, we appreciate Ms. Allen tapping into the Gentleman's Talk podcast. Like I said, we get a podcast all over Connecticut. She just confirming that there's 3 parts of the brain. So she can just put that on the camera so she knows that I'm official because there's 3 parts of your brain.
Oh, yep, I was right. Cerebrum.
There's 3 parts. She didn't say the part of 3 parts.
Cerebrum, cerebellum, and brainstem.
So can you say it's 3 parts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so that means I know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to 3 good brothers, always tapping in. Like I said, we do all types of work. We tapping into all freaking. She's a teacher, so I even taught her something. So, any shout outs you want to say at the end of the episode? Any people you want to shout out?
Let me see. Shout out to my homegirls that's holding it down. Shout out to Nick Nice down south. Shout out to Octavia Canby, known as Toby, who just did a whole 360 holding it down, became a manager for Karen at her job. Yes, at the hotel. Shout out to Daphne, who's holding it down with her husband Dre, with her own business out there in the store. Shout out to Lee Trey, my girl Lee Trey, holding it down with her 2 kids. My nephews, of course, my nephew and my niece, Milan and Jalea. Shout out to Angie, who always hold it down with Ajanique, my niece, and then she got all my other nieces and her son that's in jail holding it down. Shout out, that's my nephew right there, Jaquan. Shout out to my brother who's holding it down. Just came home holding it down, getting back on his. My brother Jonathan, they call him J-Wack, but we too old for that, so it's just Jonathan. Shout out to my cousin Shamilia, who hold it down with her kids. She hold it down with her kids. Doing so good. They Zaire and Jakari, she holding them down. They doing excellent. Shout out to my cousin Yvette, My cousin Yvette Riles. She got 8 degrees and right now working on her PhD and about to have it. So pretty soon she's going to be called Dr. Riles. Shout out to that. I love her, She's an inspiration. Ever since I was little, she always told me, school. Stay in school, come on. She got seniority with crack. Ever since I known her, she's been doing big things. Like, I love her right now, and I love my aunt. Shout out to my aunt Janice, who been holding me down, doing a lot of things for me. I'm not gonna name, doing a lot of things for me. Shout out to my Uncle Wayne. Shout out to my Uncle Greg. I don't care if he's gay. I love you, and he hold it down in New York. $3,000 rent a month. I love him to death. Shout out to my auntie Barbara. She's doing her thing, retired as a Capitol Police. Shout outs to her. Her house still looking nice, fresh. Still to her son, Christopher. Shout out to her. Shout out to my whole family. Yes, now I love my family. Shout out to my family.
Okay.
Holding it down. Shout out to Brownie, our little baby, the little dog. October 20th, he'll be 2. Shout outs to Brownie holding it down.
Shout out to motherfucking Brownie.
Shout out to my husband.
Oh shit! Shout out to me. Hey! Ain't alive.
Shout out to my husband for holding it down, doing his thing, even though he be doing shit that I don't like. That's what niggas do, but shout outs to him for holding it down.
Don't forget to shout out yourself, for being a good queen and being a good woman and holding it down,
Shout out to myself for holding it down and being a good woman and being in areas that I shouldn't be. Shout out to me for still holding on to this where I shouldn't be, but God, I'm just doing what God tell me to do. When he direct me other paths, it'll happen. Simple as that. And shout out to God.
Shout out to God.
Because if it wasn't for him, I would be dead.
That's a fact, me too.
I would be dead if it wasn't for God. Don't get me started because I could get on God all day. God is the ultimate and nobody's going to tell me nothing different about my God. My God is a God He's a good God. He's a loving God. And he's a serving God. And I will serve him to the end of my last breath.
And this is all brought to you by Three Good Brothers on the Gentleman's Talk podcast. And hopefully you're all check out this episode. We got mad work coming out, mad podcasts, and we enjoy all your support. Like I said, even the ones that don't hate us, and we'll see you real soon. Like I said, this is the motherfucking Gentleman's Talk podcast, hosted all over Connecticut and even motherfucking New York.